members of BRB for organizing this important event. And my hearty greetings goes to all those sitting in the audience who have come here and attended this important event. After paying my humble tributes to one of the heroic personalities of the Baloch national struggle, I would like to discuss some of the problems facing the Baloch national struggle in Pakistan in the context of the martyrdom of Qambar Khan Bugti. Instead of only emphasizing on the life of Khan Bugti, I think we are confronted with a far more important responsibility of realizing what Khan Bugti died for and what he expected from us to do. This realization might help us solve some national problems facing the Baloch national struggle today. Shedding some light on how we lost the freedom we struggle to regain today. Gentlemen, Pakistan is a unique experience in political history of the world. This is a country created to safeguard the interests of the colonial power in the South Asia and Middle East after its withdrawal from India in 1947. Political power in the newly created religious state of Pakistan was exercised through military force, backed by economic, political, and moral support of former colonial power and its allies. In the process of dividing India and creating Pakistan, the sovereignty of the Baloch nation was compromised, and the fate of Baloch state of Kalat was sealed forever. In order to make Pakistan a viable state, its creator used its imperial might to incorporate Balochistan into the religious state in 1948. Soon after the illegal incorporation of Balochistan into Pakistan, the Pakistani establishment, in order to undermine the Baloch national identity and to dilute any nationalistic struggle, forcefully tried to impose an alien language as the national language and not Indian cultural values as Islamic Pakistani values upon the Baloch. The Baloch political giants who possessed political consciousness struggled to secure the Baloch national interest. Nawab Akbar Khan Bugti was among the towering figures of the Baloch resistance. The Baloch resistance against the oppressive and subjugating policies of Pakistan resulted in the use of crude military prowess by the state against the Baloch. The suppression of Baloch on the hands of Pakistani establishment kept on intensifying, while the national consciousness of Baloch kept on increasing. When the anti-Baloch plans by the Pakistani establishment were in rise, and the Baloch identity as a nation became extinct, they came Akbar Khan Bugti with the vision to unite the Baloch political and resistance forces in the larger interests of the Baloch and Balochistan. Akbar Khan Bugti rightly realized the anti-Baloch policies of the Pakistan establishment. He realized that the only way forward for the Baloch is to struggle under a unified organization or a national political front. He realized that under such a front, the Baloch would gather its strength, resources, and abilities to fight against the Pakistan establishment for the national salvation of Baloch people. However, unfortunately, the colonial power realized the danger in the person of Nawab Akbar Khan Bugti and his endeavor to forge unity among the Baloch political groups. He was threatened of facing severe consequences by the then Pakistani general, the so-called General Musharraf, if he doesn't abandon his struggle for the Baloch national rights. Bugti responded very bravely and wisely to the threats. Akbar Khan said, and I quote here, "The general has promised to hit us in such a way that we will not know what hit us. In one sense, it is quick death that he is promising us. He could do this to me and a few other Baloch leaders, but not to the entire Baloch nation." The attacks and bombardments of his town pushed the veteran Baloch leader towards the mountains, where he fought heroically and embraced death, leaving his dream of uniting the Baloch nation to us to be fulfilled. As we witnessed, that Bugti's martyrdom awakened the Baloch nation at large, that frightened the enemy of losing its grip on Balochistan, used vicious and draconian tactics to contain the Baloch nationalistic aspirations. To date, it has rounded up students, doctors, engineers, social and political activists, keeping them in their torture cell for long period of time, killing hundreds of Baloch extrajudicially, and dumping their bodies on roadsides. All this is being done to wipe out the cream of Baloch nation and to install fear in the hearts of Baloch people, to contain or in order to make them abandon the support for the nationalistic cause. Dear brothers, The Baloch nationalist struggle is continuing despite tremendous hardship, but it is safe to say that the dream of Akbar Khan still remains to be fulfilled. However, the struggle continues in isolated pockets without a central apparatus or coordinating channel. Our internal division has not gone unnoticed by our enemy. That has intensified its barbarism, and it's benefiting from our own weaknesses and mistakes. Our movement is passing through a very important phase today. Our brothers out there who cry for our national rights are made subject to genocide. They face the enemy's barbarism, but would not want their movement to end. It is time we need to have fully organized our national forces and resources. There comes a great responsibility on the Baloch leadership today to pay high attention to this present situation and analyze it correctly. If they do not unite at this crucial phase and do not devise strategies to meet the requirements of the contemporary issues and situation, then all of their efforts will fail and their work will prove unstable. Today, Pakistan is losing its respect and support among the international community, and the Western policymakers are thinking of a real shift in policies toward Pakistan and Balochistan. It is high time for the Baloch leadership to implement the idea of unity that Akbar Khan gave us during his life. The Baloch leadership should realize the need of hour to turn the current changes in the international politics concerning South Central Asia into the advantage of our national struggle. We all must bear this fact in mind, that none of us is going to live forever. But before we depart from this world, let us convey Akbar Khan's message of unity in which lies our national salvation. This will provide not only our generation with the hope of fighting the enemy with a solid force, but also will provide the coming generation with a strong basis of institution and political unity. As the Baloch hero said, let us, before we die, gather up our heritage and offer it to our children. Brothers, let us contribute to a culture of increased respect to each other, listening, analyzing diverse views and opinion regarding the national issues facing Baloch and Balochistan, and look for the consensus that bring us together. Once we are united for the Baloch cause, then the day won't be far when the dawn of liberty will be set and we will live a peaceful and prosperous life with dignity and honor according to our cherished socio-cultural values. To me, at this critical moment of our national history, spreading and stressing on the message of unity among the Baloch resistance organizations is the best way of paying tribute to Nawab Akbar Khan Bugti and our determination to stand firm in this struggle. I end up my speech with this Urdu poem. आज़मा जो कोई तरीक़ा जबर बाकी है, सीने में अभी सहने को सबर बाकी है, बरसा दे जो तेरी आदत में कहर बाकी है, लौटाने को मेरी फितरत में महर बाकी है, पिला दे जो तेरे पैमानों में जहर बाकी है, दिफा को दवाए तबीब में असर बाकी है, तेरी महफिल में मुझे रोंदने का जिक्र बाकी है, मेरी महफिल में बगावत की फिक्र बाकी है, ढा दे जो चंद आबाद शहर बाकी हैं, मकीनों में नए शहर बसाने का हुनर बाकी है, बुझा दे दिए जिनमें रोशनी की लहर बाकी है, मेरे दिल में अभी उम्मीद सहर बाकी है। थैंक यू वेरी मच।